Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your co-host, Keoni McKeague, and with me as always are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Nolan Tcheng and Shirai. Boys, say what's up to the pod.
Hello, hello.
What up,
Thanks for joining
guys?
us.
All right, so we're a week later, and we are 3 games deeper into the finals, so we're going to go ahead and get the ball rolling on today's episode of After the Buzzer. We're going to break down games 3, 4, and 5 of the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors, as well as some of the trade and free agency rumors around the league.
I mean, in game 3, they won by 16. It actually helped that they're 3 big, in my opinion, they're 3 scorers who have been scoring for them throughout the whole playoffs, which is Smart, Brown, and Tatum. Actually went 26, 27, and 24. So on that side of the offensive, like, at least those people are still stepping up and whatnot.
Yep.
I think defensively, even though I was, like you said, I was looking at the Warriors stats, but even like in the long run, Steph only had 31. I mean, only had 31 at 25 and 18, and then they shut everybody else down. After those 3, nobody was in double figures. The next closest person had, Jordan Poole had 10. Sorry. But with that being said, like, they're doing a great job of just shutting them down, and in that game alone, I think they, to give them that edge in that to go up 2-1 is what mainly, like, you playing with the back against the wall. You're at home, so like Nolan brought up, I think in the last series, is like that home crowd is really tough to play at. Like, it's a really TD is a really tough place to play at, and so they really embrace the crowd there, and it helps. It's like being from Hawaii and you're playing the Stan Sheriff. Like, Hawaii has the best crowd in the nation. That's what they always talk about when it comes to men's and women's, like, indoor sports. And so I think
because it's the only sport we have.
Just like
it's like the only thing, we can to like really cheer for here. But yeah,
You guys got surfing.
We don't have.
I mean, that's true, but you can't hear the
No,
crowd
true,
in that
that's
one,
true.
right? Because it's so damn loud out there.
You're gonna be on the cliff.
There's a lot of criticism going around to Draymond right now in the last few games that we haven't touched on. Obviously, this episode we are. And we talked about it last episode. Draymond needs to be a factor. Obviously, he's not a scorer. We don't need him to be a scorer, and he's still not a scorer in this series. But he's doing everything else. He's still rebounding at a decent clip for his size. He's assisting at a high clip like we expected him to be. And game 4, it was a matter of time before Steph had his game. It's not like it's not an outlier. It's not like, what? Steph scored 40? No, it's Steph Curry. He's going to have a game where he's going to drop those buckets and everyone's going to be like, yeah, this is Steph. I think the Warriors just kind of took it to them. It's weird because, like, the Celtics offensively, their spread wasn't terrible. I don't think that they did really anything odd in the most part, but I think that the Warriors just took control of the game, especially just for game 4, and were able to pull it off in the end. It was just one of those close games where it kind of comes down to the last quarter, and whoever's showing up shows up in the last quarter. And kudos to the Warriors. I mean, they are fighting to make sure that they're still the top dog in the league, which is, that's maybe a conversation for another time, but you can tell that this is not the same big 3 that has been the big 3 for the last good part of a decade. And so I think that it was good for them in game 4 to kind of get that control. And then game 5 for the split decision, they were finally got a 2-game back-to-back win in this series, where it's just kind of been trading up until now. And this one, I think, at least from what I could tell, the main factor was Wiggins, dude. And Wiggins has been, I think, honestly, the most consistent on their team in regards to what he's being asked of in his role. Sorry, guys. My dog's But yeah, I'm excited for this next game. I think, game 6, it's an elimination game. So
yeah,
Celtics need to come ready, come grind
I'm
those
with it.
gears all the way to the last buzzer, and
Yes,
then we'll
sir.
talk about it after the buzzer.
Ah. Okay. All right. So, what did I say? We had to not fool around.
God
I
damn it,
know.
Keoni!
No.
Jeez, this
So that
guy.
was my fault. My bad. Anyway, so what I was gonna say was that you're absolutely right. The thing that sucks is that the the top three guys, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, they've been kind of doing it for the most part. I mean, obviously they have some dips in their games, but they've been there. They've been relatively putting up pretty good stats, and then all of a sudden you got Steph Curry waking up, you got Wiggins waking up, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, damn, they
Gary
have so
Payton
much.
Jr. the
Yeah,
second.
and
No, he gave
it's
15.
scary.
Woo!
It's scary to think that you're right. I think this is a different iteration of the Warriors' big three. I think they're not the we're going to carry the team on our backs anymore. Big three. I think now they're kind of like a more let's get this team better kind of big three because obviously Clay hasn't really been Clay throughout the playoffs, and
But
understandably
Game
he's coming
6
off
is
of an
coming up.
injury. Yeah.
He locks people up, and then and he's not expected, but he puts out as well on the offensive end. So I mean, I would be surprised a little bit, but I wouldn't be super surprised with it.
God damn it, Keoni!
I didn't say anything. Uh,
Use
I'm,
brains.
I was like, the podcast doesn't know I did anything.
There is obviously the word going around. This team isn't a closer. Celtics swept the Nets. 2 first ballot Hall of Famers on that team. Took out the reigning champs in 7-game series. They fought back, took the 7th game. Contending Heat for the past 3 years took them to 7, closed out each of those series. I think it's tough, especially based off of this year, to not call them closers when they've done it thus far in each round.
Mhm.
So it is kind of up to them. If they do fall short, it's not for lack of effort and heart. So I think that right now, if between the two of them, I still think that Steph is the one whose legacy is a little more tarnished based off of
Mm.
it.
Nolan made some pretty great arguments.
No, there was some great points. I'm in agree.
that up, Jared.
No, then I'll just attack the other side of it.
Yeah.
You gave Jason Tatum's. I'll attack the other side of it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory that it's going to be Steph, in my opinion, because he has not won a championship without KD and everything. I mean, in the sense of like where he's actually led that team. When if he did lead the team when they won before KD got there, then Iggy would not have gotten the MVP. So I think in this sense of how he's getting older, how they talk about it is Steph's team, but does he need help? I feel like you can't. He's going to tarnish him. I mean, Nolan took all the good points because I was going
No,
to
it's
attack
not
that
that.
side
I
of
was
it
about to
too.
say,
But
I
like,
feel like no matter what, you're looking at this through a LeBron James lens. Either way,
you are killing.
it has
No,
to
I'm,
be
I'm
about
actually looking at it
LeBron.
from a I'm looking at it from a KD point because if KD ended up
Is that your new
staying in
bandwagon,
Golden
Jared?
State, that would have been his team. Calm down over there.
You
I
gotta
have a
put
I don't
hot
out
think
or
take
Tatum's
shut
after
legacy
up.
Jared
big.
finishes. I have a hot take after Jared
Okay.
finishes.
Oh, you hot take,
All right, go
man.
ahead, hot take.
If
You're
Celtics
gonna get
take this
stats today.
series and the Warriors lose in 7, I think it's time to break up the band.
I agree.
I think it's time to break up the band.
I agree.
This I think will lead into what I was about to say about this argument in its um I think that we're at that point where we can say that they're on a downward spiral. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
the Warriors, as good as they are, we're seeing throughout this series and possibly even maybe the last series a little bit, we're seeing that they are relying on these kind of, you know, tertiary players, these guys who they kind of signed and have been working with for the last few years, even though there's still the star power of Wiggins. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, I guess technically Wiggins, but of
No,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, now,
okay.
yeah. I was like of Curry, Draymond, and Clay. The three of them haven't really been the three of them. And if anybody who has an argument for being still kind of there, it's Steph. But outside
Yeah.
of him, the other two have kind of, trailed off. So obviously we talked about
I mean,
game
Clay
six.
is coming off an injury,
Yeah, yeah.
so
And see, I mean,
you gotta
there
you
is
gotta give him
obviously that
some
argument,
credit there.
but part of it the argument has to kind of go back to the fact that sometimes guys don't come back the same way after injuries. You know what I'm saying? And he is getting older.
Derrick Rose.
Yes. but yeah, I mean the truth is in the pudding. Like obviously when guys get injured and they kind of
Yeah.
are getting older, these injuries take a lot more time to heal up. So I think that Nolan's right. I think if they don't win it this year, I'm not sure that if they just try to run it back, they're gonna come back any better than they are this year.
Doesn't the world
Possibilities.
revolve around the Lakers?
Yeah,
No?
exactly. That's
Oh,
what it seems
all right, my
like
bad.
because if you look at
No,
the
no,
news,
Russell Westbrook.
that is exactly what is happening. And the ironic thing for me, I keep thinking is you guys don't even have that many assets, but somehow you guys are able to make trades for all of these random players that I'm saying. One of the largest names that keeps reoccurring amongst all media outlets as well as Woj himself. Yes, I said it. Adrian Wojnarowski, the master of rumors and free agency buzz, is Zach LaVine. And the
Yes.
only
I
thing
saw
that
that.
pops up with Zach LaVine to the Lakers is a possibility of an Anthony Davis to the Bulls trade via sign in trade. So, my question to the both of you, as far as Lakers fans, is does that make any sense?
Nolan, you can go
Yeah,
first,
no,
Nolan.
as the
True Laker
resident
man.
Laker fan, it'll go straight to you.
Yes, you are the resident
Here's
Laker
how
fan.
this is gonna go. Somehow